That's right, folks. It's another late night and time for another reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out Watching You, the web series, episode 6, entitled Repercussion. Of course, another fine video brought to you courtesy by Joshua Thomas and the fine folks at Just Giggle It, formerly Frozen Fire Productions, with Watching You specifically. The same makers of Erase Away. So, Tiki, how do we feel about this episode?
Yeah, hey there, folks. Sorry about that little technical faux pas. I have the live chat open and I forgot to mute my video at the beginning, so sorry about that. Dragon, I'm feeling very good about this episode. Of course, you and I were kind of interested, we've been staring at these episodes and the titles and the runtimes for weeks, Dragon. Of course, these have been they've been like little treasures. Like, we've been savoring these episodes, one at a time, weekly, which is with these episodes being, like, generally speaking, 7 to 12-ish minutes, with this being on the shortest side at 7 minutes. Dragon, I think that this episode definitely sums up pretty much the whole premise of Watching You really well, really beautifully, with a sense of humor intact, but also with a sense of humanity about it. And yeah, I definitely think you can tell this is if anything else, I think this is the episode out of anything from Watching You so far, Dragon, that really emulates what Joshua Thomas and company were going to do in the future with Harley Quinn and the Joker.
Certainly, and of course, speaking of Harley Quinn and the Joker, we'd be remiss if we didn't shout out the fine show that is. Folks, if we can get the view count on episode 5, The Next Generation, Harley Quinn and the Joker, episode 5, The Next Generation's been rebranded, kind of get some, more attention towards that episode, because if we get to the million mark, folks, that means we can get more episodes which are pretty much written out already and definitely planned, and of course they'll be made. They're raring to go on it. Again, once we hit just that million mark, it's kind of like a proof of concept, a million, if you will. It's not just like, it's not an ego thing, folks. Like, when it hits a million, it's for like purposes of giving us this series. So trust me, folks, you just got to watch it, man. You want to watch it, you want to rewatch it, you want to send it to your friends, to your family, to strangers off the street. Just like, you stop a guy on the street, you pull up the video, like, hey, look at this, and you go on your merry way. And in doing so, you secure the future of a fine show brought to you by Just Giggle. It's an honest laugh because it's just. Anyway.
Well said, Dragon. Well said. All right.
Yes.
So, folks, this is going to be probably in the realm of 20 minutes or so, give or take. Like, we probably spend about 5 minutes for every 1 minute. So
yes, because the remarkable thing about this is you take away the opening and the end credits. I mean, you would take like a 7 minute and change episode, and it kind of gets down to kind of the 6 minute range. So,
all right. So, of course, one of the interesting artistic things is I don't remember. Dragon, remind me. Did we get the intro right off the bat in the pilot,
yes.
or yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the pilot? No, the pilot we built to in the pilot.
Okay, so this is the only episode then, correct me if I'm wrong, so far that we've gone the intro right off the bat.
Yes, the first one, I believe, yes.
Okay, so that's
an artistic
choice right there.
I almost would say last episode, but last episode we did the opening. Then it's like our three goofballs in the episodes, like, oh boy, and then they had like the the music queued up right after that. There was a cold open in front of that. So yes, of course, folks, just a little disclaimer. Of course, Watching You, of course, we recommend everybody watch it. Because another thing we should be promoting while we can. The fine folks Just Giggle It. If there are any Watching You fans who are probably smarter than us and watched all 7 installments already, don't worry, folks, will be caught up by the time this next thing happens. But tomorrow, Wednesday specifically, folks Just Giggle It will be having the lovely actress, Kelsey Prabilski, who plays Jessica Parker. They will be having a Q&A live stream with her, and it'll be, I'm sure it's going to be a delight. These two people haven't seen each other in a while. Joshua Thomas, the director, writer, and showrunner behind Watching You, and then the lead actress. Again, definitely Tiki and I's favorite part of the show. We love Prabilski. She's amazing. Episode 4 is a testament to how amazing she is in that show. And just on the whole, I mean, she's always impressed. I mean, I can't wait to kind of see what kind of stuff we're going to learn about her and kind of the history and kind of what her reflecting on the show, especially once we finish it too, because Watching You, of course, it's an extended pilot. That's the way it's intended to be viewed. The first season used in a loose term. It's chopped up into 7 parts, but in reality, it's like 1 hour and change pilot. So, yes, Watching You, folks.
All right, so diving into the episode proper, Dragon, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, it's going to go by fast. We're just saving every little succinct as we can. So, yeah, let's... All right, so Taylor, in the previous episode, we had, the sexual harassment video having gone well for Taylor. Everything's kind of coming up Millhouse for Taylor, while everything's not going very well at all for poor Jessica. And where we've left things by the last 2 episodes. So Taylor's returning home. What does he find, Tiki?
He finds all his stuff out on the front porch, basically.
Yes, because we had this bit. I love that we called this back.
It's not really a porch. It's more like just like out by the front door, I should say.
Sure, just up front. He goes home and he finds it's like a duplex or something. It's like a home that you would pay rent on. So I think that's a duplex. I'm not sure because either that or like kind of a homey apartment. I'm not entirely sure. The point is like he and his former girlfriend Denise, who we'll get into momentarily because we got some stuff to say about Denise too. They got into a fight because basically she's had it with Taylor's BS, him kind of philandering around, and he's just very discourteous, and he's just very kind of he's a meathead essentially. That's kind of what Taylor is. He's a very he's a schlubby actor in L.A. Like the guy's acting to pay the bills essentially. He's really he definitely has an arc to go on, to say the least. So finds his stuff outside. He finds like the locks have been changed. I love how he's just narrating exactly what's going on. Because ordinarily it's like, oh man, they're just spilling everything up. But no, it's just this guy would do that. He's just saying, you changed the locks! And he's reading, you want me to stay at a hotel? And he realizes he has lost his wallet, which I'm sure is going to be a plot point in the next installment.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost his wallet. It's like, because basically, it feels like we need reasons for him to get to the main crux of what this episode leads to, and we have to make sure we kind of take certain things away from Taylor. The wallet was a good call. There's one call in this I'm not super crazy about, but we'll get there. She basically figured, because Taylor when she walked out on Taylor just figured, oh, wait a minute, she paid the rent up for this month. Therefore, if she left, she moved out. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I get to keep the place then.
Womp, womp, womp.
In reality, in the note, Denise, played by the wonderful Elle Lamont, who's going to be in a...
We get some scathing commentary from Denise here about our dearly beloved Taylor.
Yes, by the way, Elle Lamont, or Elle Lamante, she is... I think it's Elle Lamont. The actress who plays...
She's moved on to bigger and better things, Dragon.
She's working with Robert Rodriguez, and by proxy, James Cameron.
Yeah, on Alita Battle Angel.
Yes, basically that cool, that's cool. Yet another movie where Zemeckis has kind of a weirdly awesome, weirdly limbed character in the lead role. We have that, and that character, Alita, is going up against Screwhead, a very dangerous looking blade wielding cybernetic assassin played by our little Denise here, Elle Lamont. She's gone up in the world, and here's the thing: I want to give Denise all the credit in the world here because. This character, she's only, in the grand scheme of things, she has 2 scenes. But again, we'll see what happens in the last one. I don't think she's going to be in it, but that's not here nor there. So far, 2 episodes. And she had very impactful things to do in the plot.
I think this episode in particular.
Yes, especially here. But we had a lot of good setup with her in that first one, though. She was physically there. Even when she's not physically here, just her reading this note is conveying a lot of story and does a very there's this really strong story point that I love very much so. Which let's break it down here. So she figures she pays the rent on the place. So why is she moving out? So basically she's changed the locks on, so now all of this stuff's out front. It's like an Odd Couple thing of like until Felix Unger was asked to leave. That request came from his wife, something like that. And just she calls him, a douchebag. She regrets loving him. Like, he is. She says, I know you're this way because you hate yourself, and you should because you're a terrible person."
That is definitely the most scathing line of the episode, Dragon. What do you think of that?
I mean, yes, but again, she's not. She's she's technically. Here's the thing that's fascinating me about this. I love that all the stuff that she's saying is really ushering him through his character arc, and this is stuff that, again, is not wrong, but by the same token, is really harsh. But it's not wrong. I think this is kind of stuff. It's kind of, we need Taylor to hit his low point. This is a guy who's kind of oblivious to a low point, so we really got to drive it home there. And in doing so, like, we got to take away all the ego, all the machismo. Like, nothing. We can't have anything work out for Taylor in this moment here. And I'm going to speculate when we get to kind of this little mini flashback. I think this might be evocative of some really personal stuff for Taylor. So I basically, the moment that really struck me, less the whole like it was shocking hearing it. The whole, "You're Taylor, you hate yourself and you should because you're a terrible person." But the thing that really got me was, when have you ever helped anyone ever? And that line really struck me because, one, I love how it comes back, and more so, I love this in stories, specifically, installments. Like, I've mentioned this, oddly enough, when we've done Daredevil and we've done The Flash. I love it when we issue a challenge to our character, and I love that we have this line. And we flirted around with this in like episode 2 with her, and this is where she really drove it home in a really great way here, where we've a challenge has been posed to Taylor's character, as in, like, can you help somebody? Is that even in your DNA? Can you change for the better as a character? And we pose this challenge to Taylor, and it builds to a big moment of change for him. We see exactly what path he takes regarding that, where it's going to lead him. And I thought that was fascinating. That was a great story choice. I was really, that was really grabbing me out of this whole speech that she's reading off here. And again, I love that this is all coming from, like, Denise has very little screen time. There's a chance we might not see Denise for a long time if we ever get more episodes of watching. Like, technically, she doesn't need to come back. If she does, it'll be gravy. But yeah, that's the thing. If she never comes back, she had a lasting impact. It's like a great guest role,
Yeah, definitely.
And then she drives the knife in there. This is where things get really harsh. And again, we've been foreshadowing this here, and we foreshadowed big time here in like the last parting words here, where she says, "Die, Taylor. P.S. You suck at acting."
And this is where Taylor really kind of comes into his own with the acting thing, because he's just like, all right, you know what? You can take my house. You can take my stuff. But you cannot take my certificate of excellence in acting.
Yeah, okay, so here's there are two minor gripes I have with this episode. Just two. One's far lesser than the one I'm about to bring up. This one right here, this is one that actually is kind of a plot thing, where it's like a we don't care sort of thing, where it's like, okay, it's fine, I'll go give it a pass. But it's Taylor, to make a point, to make a declarative point. He says, "I don't need the house. I don't even need my car." Because again, he owns the car, folks. So he has the keys to the car, and he just drops the keys on the porch.
Yeah,
and,
that's a bit of a logic faux pas.
And here's the thing: I get exactly why Joshua Thomas put that in there, because we need to get Taylor walking down the street and kind of, again, walking and kind of like basically selling his business on the street.
Of course, right.
Making phone calls.
You need to have that happen, sure.
Because again, if he's driving away, if he's just doing all this in the car, then nothing, unless he's driving while he's doing it. Again, it would have been hard to shoot regardless if you're trying to do like a thing that's happening in motion, but regardless, it wouldn't have linked up what we had earlier. The point is, it's kind of a buy, and I think that's safe. You'd agree with me there, right? It's a buy.
Oh yeah.
A buy that, on the whole, like the quality of this thing, I'd give it a pass, but still, it's a buy. So again, he's just like, I'll keep my certificate of excellence, and I love how that came back. By the way, I love how it was like the Mel Gibson.
Oh, that comes back as like probably the funniest line of the episode, Dragon.
I love this prop too, because initially I just thought it was like two separate things that hung on the wall, but no, it's like he has the image taped inside the certificate, which cracks me up, and it makes that prop even funnier, and it's great. Okay, so what we cut from Taylor to the other to our other,
really, like, from this point forward, the rest of the episode is just beautifully constructed, Dragon.
Absolutely, I got some great comparisons for what Thomas did here, and again, Joshua Thomas edited this, and again, I've always praised Joshua Thomas's editing skills, and I hail to the chief on this one here, folks. It's like, oh my god, I think he's one of the most impressive editing I think this episode is probably the best, possibly. And there's a lot of great contenders, folks. Off the top of my head, this might be one of the best edited whole pieces that Joshua Thomas has done, because the editing in this scene, in this sequence, in this whole episode,
it's got so many flowing, moving parts to it. It's got Taylor, it's got a little bit of Jessica, just to kind of set the flavor of Jessica's story and kind of set the tone of the scene. Of course, we've got the tension with the truck driver. I mean, everything just kind of like, everything just kind of weaves together and just flows into itself very naturally.
Sure. And before we go any further, I just want to shout something out here. It's an excellent point we got from one of our live commenters, Damona B. She pointed out, when you're arguing, you don't always act logically, and that's a very good point. I guess like that's kind of the logic that I give it a pass with. Of like, she's. Yeah, again, Taylor's not.
When I was watching the episode, I didn't even like think about it really. So I do think it definitely falls into that classic Pixar "we don't care" kind of category.
Again, it's not a problem. It's just like something that occurs to you on a pass. But I think I'm going to say that I think that's what Joshua Thomas was probably thinking when he was going through the thing. Well, he's angry. We've established Taylor isn't really the deepest thinker, so it's fine.
Right.
So, fair point. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see. Oh yes. Okay. So we cut. So again, I've been saying this from the get go. Taylor and Jessica, they're at their strongest when they're counterpoints. And we definitely do that thematically and kind of editing wise. This episode, we see the balance of both of these characters and what we're doing, kind of almost in a Hitchcockian way. We're doing this parallel editing thing where we're showing these two characters at their low point. We're showing the premise, like the thing that's been written down since the first episode. With the premise is two people meet each other on the worst days of their lives. And we're just building that tension as it's unfolding here. So you see poor Jessica.
I told you, Dragon. I told you from the get-go, I think from episode 2, I was like, I bet you anything that we're not going to get the payoff of that premise until the final episode.
That's fair. To be fair, we did kind of jump back and forth if we were going to get it in this pilot or not.
We did.
But you're right. Again, I think we're kind of leaning. I think you mainly were leaning towards that final thing. I agree with you. I think it was. But I did kind of call. Well, we'll get to the very end. I was somewhat right. About something. Anyway, so poor Jessica. She's in shambles. She's holding this photo of her and her father. I like the visual parallel we have going on here, where he brought the certificate with him with a fake photo. It's very indicative of like fake Hollywood delusions, and she has like this very real image of like her the real world bonds, like all that she had in the world between her and her father. Of course, there's like a whole perennial arc that really fascinates me, and we'll get to that momentarily. So here's my other gripe. I'll just get out of the way, because this basically happens through this whole sequence to the end of it, essentially, at least for a sequence before we get to the big meat and potatoes of it all. I'm not crazy about the song choice at the beginning of all this.
Is it just because it's overused?
Honestly, I gotta tell you, yes, I gotta tell you, Hallelujah. It's like one of those songs that whenever I hear it, it's like you can only hear it so many times before it gets old, And I want to make clear.
I feel it like, I don't know. It's like I feel like it's a classic song that is kind of just a good mood setter, but
I'm gonna say this. It's like one of our Steven Universe comparisons here. It's a very subjectivity Steven thing. It's very subjective, and it's like not my taste, because again, I've heard Hallelujah, and a lot of times like I think you have to hit just the right spot when Hallelujah feels like it's being used in the right context. And I think contextually it works here. By the same token, it feels like it's like I think everything else is so natural. This feels like, okay, we're hammering in the sadness with Hallelujah.
Right.
That's just my own 2 cents. Again, like, no, it's not a bad choice.
How would you feel about Let It Be by the Beatles instead of Hallelujah?
I don't know. I guess it might have felt a little different. And I was just saying, like, honestly, if it were any song but Hallelujah, I don't know. That's a thing, maybe.
Oh, man, you really don't like Hallelujah.
I'm just saying, again, it's like, after Shrek, I've kind of heard it all, It's like, okay, I'm kind of done. I don't need it.
Oh, man.
It's just kind of that. It's nothing personal. It's just like, you know what? Yeah, kind of done. All right. Okay, so let's see. Hallelujah. Again, those are my only 2 gripes, folks. Right now, it's smooth sailing to the end here. So, Taylor is calling his pals for shelter, because again, that's the only other reason I could factor. He's walking down the street. Basically, he doesn't have really an office to think in right now, like a floor space, just kind of walking the streets, kind of like, kind of walking the old country miles, essentially here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take us through some of this?
Yeah, sure. He's calling a variety of his friends, and he's just like, hey man, I'm kind of down on my luck, need a place to stay. And his friends just kind of keep coming up with excuses, like legitimate excuses, like book club. Your mom's hosting a book club? People still do that?
Yeah.
And then we kind of get it escalated. And you know, we get the situation escalated where he's calling another friend and he's like, well, I know you have a spare bed, man. What about the one in your brother's room? That's a bunk bed? And he's 5 years old? Well, I don't care. I can go there, bro. Hello?
I'm willing to go there. No,
I just love how his situation just gets more and more desperate until finally it's just like they're not even giving him excuses. They're just like, times are tough, and it's like, well, times are tough for me too.
Yeah, so as again, Taylor's hitting a desperate low point where Jessica hit like kind of the emotionally somber low point of like, oh my god, like this girl. Basically, it's like a Rocky thing of like it's like she's just put all of her energy into it. She's like, there's no more fight to give, man. She's just
right.
Well, I get honestly less Rocky. I'm gonna go with Creed on this one. It's the Creed thing. We need that Apollo moment for it. It's like that's what she needs, like that smell and salt Apollo moment to get her up off the mat. Really, it's like. We see that ghostly old 70s stock footage, man. But yes, so as they're hitting their low points here, we also undercut this, and this is a great little. I love this. Gundry is watching from a distance, and it's kind of ominous. And again, we don't exactly know what the deal with Gundry is. Like, is he mystical? Is he a mad scientist? Is he just a very concerned guy? Is he going to like read him the riot act? Like again, he's planning to make a move of some kind. We don't know what though. That's the thing. Like wondering. Artie wonders, like, if there's a mystical thing,
do
like,
we even know his name?
No, it's just he's credited as man at the door. We saw him as a medical doctor.
Man at the door.
Here's the thing. So if anyone's watching this and they're also curious, here's what the official answer is. In the script, he was originally credited as doctor, and
sorry,
he was originally credited as doctor, and then they changed that to man at the door. And so my shorthand has been just Dr. Gundry because it's Bill Gundry playing him. So it's like that's all I really got. So anyway, so he's watching him for. He's planning to make a move of some kind, and we can speculate on what that move might exactly be. But it's very ambiguous, and that was a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So then he ends up firing the whole. My life's hard too. So as he's saying this, a little girl is playing basketball outside. And there's a car driving. There's a man in a car driving, and he's very distracted while he's driving.
We built this city.
Now, Tiki, that's one of the best choices in the whole series, like, well, in the whole season.
I was going to say, Dragon, you got to admit that's a good song choice.
Oh, it is, but Tiki, you know why it's a good song choice.
Why is it a good song choice?
This is the song that it was either Jessica. God, it's either
Beyond
Jessica.
The fact that it's a really good sequence in the Muppets.
Well, of course, but I'm saying aside. No, I'm saying that this is the first song that we heard in the show. I'm trying to think. It was Taylor. It had to be Taylor. Taylor was in his car, and We Built This City was playing. I mean, there's a slim chance it could have been Jessica in the first episode, but I'm pretty sure it was Taylor listening to this, and I think that's what. Assuming it's Taylor who's listening to this in his car, see how the irony bounds and see how it all comes around full circle. Like now, again, the car starts by playing that. It's calling to mind when we first saw Taylor in his car.
I would call that a really good callback, Dragon. Nice catch.
Yeah, so again, I love that starts the sequence off. It's honestly one of those little, we always like the highlights. It's kind of like one of those Godfather touches where like there's something a little off with the scene before something bad happens. It's like always like the lights flickering or there's oranges in the scene, something like that.
Right.
All right, so basically all the pieces are lining up now. We got a girl playing basketball. We got Gundry. We got Taylor hitting the low point. We got a man driving a car while multitasking. And meanwhile, big heaping helping of ambiguous plot that I can't get enough. I want to get a second helping, Tiki. Oh my god, we got mom calls.
Oh god,
mom calls.
Yeah, Dragon, I gotta say, this, I've been having some family issues with my mother, so this definitely hit home with me. That's all I'm gonna say about it, folks. It's hard for me to even talk about without relating to real life stuff, but yeah, Dragon, suffice to say, you can talk us through it, but suffice to say, I'm very intrigued for what this means for Taylor's character, especially as you pointed out earlier, the sort of parental teeter-totter that we're going on story-wise with Jessica and Taylor.
Yes, I mean, here's the fascinating thing, Tiki, and I love that this paid off, is that in episode, again, episode 1 or 2, we saw Taylor get a call that said "mom," and we were speculating, like, did I see what I just saw? Because it said "mom," and then below it, there was like it was either like a demotivational poster uses an image or something that said it was a picture of a woman. It doesn't look like the actress they got for his mom. I just think it was like just a poster that says "whore." So
Oh,
mom and
right, I remember that.
so
Yeah.
this call again. I'm assuming that that's chosen for a reason. Again, this flashback kind of confirms my suspicions to an extent. Where we flash back, so Taylor gets called and he's thinking back here. And we get this really ambiguous, awesome flashback to Taylor's mother. Basically, again, honestly, I'm sorry, I'm just going to geeking out here over the great performance that we had before us here. Johnny Walter, the actor who plays Taylor, this to me was the most impressive, for me, I think the most impressive acting that he delivered. So again, so far without episode 7 for us there, so far in the series, I was so blown away by
him. Is you know, as we said, we kind of like this takes his physical acting that he kind of perfected with the comedy in the series earlier on.
Yeah, and this is the dramatic
side, an emotional level.
Yes, and I love that he conveyed so much dramatically with very, very little dialogue here, because you saw on his face, you could see the embittered hurt in his face and the tears in his eyes and the anger and his mother's again. This to me is like, again, Joshua Thomas knows how to direct cryptic stuff. I love how he directs cryptic, because of course that's how we open the series, and of course what we got right here in this little like sequence here where his mother, for unknown reasons, is begging him to understand. Taylor, please, you have to understand. And then we get a look at the guy's face, and you see like, oh my god, I think he's wearing red too. It's like the color of rage. It's like it's all coming together, man. He's so broken by it, and you get to see like I don't know what this woman's done, but she had to have. She's done something really bad.
Guess from real life experience, I'd say it's some sort of freaking stepfather's involved.
Anyway, so yeah,
that's just me speculating.
Either she's done something really bad, or Taylor has perceived something she's done as just like something truly horrible. And now I could speculate, like possibly it might be like the death of a father, again, to connect the Jessica story. That's quite possible. Maybe she's done something to disrespect the father's memory, or again, could be like an affair of some kind. I'm unsure. It's unclear. So anyway, so we cut back again cryptically. We cut from that awesome, interesting kind of snippet of a flashback to kind of basically I viewed it as like an homage to Back to the Future 2 with Biff Tannen, because they have this girl playing basketball, and basically it's like our bully character gets like kids are playing with a ball, and the bully character is then accosted by these kids and he just acts really mean to them. Right. You know, it's like the whole "give us our ball back, mister. This your ball, you want your ball." Just Tom Wilson just like chucks it over like a roof. Go get it. I kept thinking that while I was watching. It's like, oh my god, it's like a Biff Tannen moment. So the point is, as the girl playing basketball, she's playing basketball. The ball like rolls to the other side of the street, and she's asking for the ball back, and he just says like, "Get lost." And what's your problem? I speculate that we might have some kind of kid control set up here. And folks, I'm going to tease you here so you check into our next week when we do episode 7 here. But we kind of found out some stuff. I finally got the question answered as to what kid control does. And I won't bring it up here. I might bring it up. We'll probably bring it up next episode. At least hint at it heavily next episode. Let's just say kid control is going to have a big payoff if they ever re-explore Watching You, and it's quite horrifying.
Oh boy.
What kid control does. So the point is, I think this girl is intentional in kind of setting up, like, I think we made a kid of all things that Taylor kind of comes across here for like his big moment in the series for 2 reasons. One, again, for the kid control of it all, and secondly for the kind of the pseudo kind of kid thing that we have going on with Jessica. Jessica's very childlike in nature, and that's kind of her arc. That's kind of the journey she needs to go on. Taylor, Taylor's the adult, basically the adult problems, and Jessica's kind of evolving to the adult phase,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so he's just being real callous to get lost. What's your problem? Then we built this city. Dun, 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 dun. So again, everything's thematically starting to come together here. And she's saying, you don't have to be a jerk. My mom says, very operative word, mom.
Of course.
My mom says, essentially, if you want, if you want people to be nice to you, you need to be nice to them.
Well, your
Of
mom
course,
sounds like a 600-pound cow.
yeah. And anyway, she takes great offense to this, and he says, "Hey, you see anyone else around you? I'm not afraid to hit a kid." So again, folks, all
What
come
do you
together
think of
here.
that line, Dragon? Because I thought that line was a bit of an interesting kind of like right before Taylor's big redemptive moment. We have a line that's frankly a little bit irredeemable in some aspects.
TKLT is this again. It sounds very consistent with some stuff we're going to get with Kid Control. So again, that
Uh,
makes me think that might be a setup line as well. But even without that, I, uh, I think it's just tough talk. I don't think he'd really hurt a kid. I think it's just
oh yeah,
being tough. Here honestly, here's what I'm gonna. Here's my little headcanon for it, Teak. My read on this scene was that because she said it was like advice from her mom, and he's in a bad place thinking about his mother right now. I think that's really why he snapped at her. And again, maybe like the threatening to hit a kid thing again. Maybe if they want to really, I don't know if they're again. It's a little cryptic right now, folks. We don't have all the answers, but maybe there's like. An abuse thing with Taylor. It is quite possible an abuse of some kind directed towards Taylor. Maybe it was like the final straw with the mother, or like with the stepfather, with the I don't know, with someone.
uh,
So I'm just saying maybe it's all just kind of like bringing up some bad, putting Taylor in a bad state of mind. So, anyways, I think it's mainly it's talk, but it's coming from a real place. So again, with all that, we've set up kind of again the father daughter thing with Jessica and her father. She's lost a parent, and of course Taylor, who basically has essentially he's emotionally lost a parent. He's lost his mother, and of course classically mothers and sons, very mothers protective of their sons, fathers protective of their daughters. And again, we've seen kind of an interesting balance of scale there. So kind of the young girl who's the innocent and the unforgiving adult world that Taylor's trying to make his way through. So let's see. So she calls him an a-hole, and does an
this is kind of
a-hole.
like a Marty McFly chicken moment right here. Like, I'm sorry, did you just call me an a-hole?
Does does Mel Gibson know does an a-hole know Mel Gibson? For
which
sure,
is the which is the line of the episode, Dragon.
her response is who? That to me cracks me up. Yeah, she wouldn't know who Mel Gibson is.
And my response would be, yeah, checks out.
All right.
All right.
So,
Anyways.
so we have now this song choice I approve of much better than Hallelujah. Honestly, I don't mean this is the cash in on Hallelujah, but Love Shot. I thought it was a great song choice.
Basically all the songs that this truck driver's driving to, he might have almost killed Taylor, Dragon, but he has a good taste in music.
That is true. So right now, folks, this is the main sequence I'm talking about here. When it all comes together, this is all the editing's been great. They're building to this as well, and that's honestly I feel like there was a divide here. You have some Hitchcockian touches with kind of setting things in play, kind of building on the audience's tension. We know, based on the cryptic hint we got in episode one, something bad's going to happen to Taylor, and most likely he's going to be hit by a car. So we, the audience, are armed with some information. But again, we're not exactly sure how the whole affair is going to unfold, and the way this actually unfolded, the editing in this sequence specifically, to me, was so flawless. And the best comparison I have, and I go over some heads here, the best comparison I really have is it's almost like the Dr. Manhattan sequence from Watchmen. It's kind of the Manhattan. It's kind of the Doctor Manhattan, like the various different. He perceives time simultaneously, past, present, and future, happening all at different junctures of time. And the editing is kind of it's unfurled like that, and it's very kind of Watchmen-esque. And I really love that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Dragon. I haven't seen Watchmen in a while, but
Doctor
like
Manhattan,
I do, like to me, I kind of took it more as like a Nolan-esque approach to editing, where it's very non-linear in terms of like this is going on, and then this is going on, and it's all gonna collide with each other, and it's gonna be bad, and oh my god,
I mean, honestly, it's like in the
and the tension just keeps building up and ramping up.
I mean, honestly, like the energy and the build and like the anticipation of it all. And again, I was like doing like an origin story that you've never seen one. We're kind of doing that here for Taylor in a way. It's kind of an origin story that again, there's some anticipation and like, oh god, how exactly is this all going to unfold?
All
It's
right.
all just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
anyway. So yes, let's see. So okay, so Taylor. Okay, so this is when it all just hits the crescendo for me here. It's like when Taylor again. You see, it's all talk, and deep down, he cares. Where this girl's playing in the street. He warns her, "Hey kid, get out of the street." And she's kind of blowing him off, and he's just a kid. And again, the headlights are coming up. The guy's distracted because he's snacking or he's dropped his phone or something, and he shoves the girl out of the way. You know me too. You love my heroism. We've had such a scumbag, womanizing character. He did something heroic. This is the big moment of change for him. And again, this is the challenge that Denise issued to him at the beginning of the episode in the note, where it's like, when have you ever helped anyone? And he's chosen to go out of his way to help this kid. Where he shoves her out of the way. He's done a selfless thing, and it's like, hooray for Taylor! You've opted for growth, but growth at a cost. He's still done a lot of bad things, and he's still going to suffer for that. And in doing so, he's pushed the kid out of the way. Hooray! Major brownie points for this character. And then he's hit by the driver, and we link up with the shot that we saw in the first episode.
Okay,
boom.
Dragon. I have 2 words for what I think you called. All right, you ready for them?
Yeah.
Eddie McDowd.
Yeah. 100 Good Deeds of Eddie McDowd.
Yep. The everyone's most beloved 90s, late 90s, early 2000s Nick sitcom starring the talking dog.
A little fun fact for kind of a mini Harley Quinn the Joker plug here. Of course, that show involves characters from Batman. Richard Mall, who voiced Two-Face in the animated series, played the drifter character who cursed Eddie McDowd in
God.
the show. Fun fact.
All right, so, Dragon. So, I'm sorry, man. Like, I feel like I didn't really pull my weight here, but it's like, it's hard to kind of distribute the talking time between 6 minutes. So, thank you.
It's not over yet.
For most of that.
Not over yet.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, it pretty much links up.
Well, I mean, specific bits here, real quick. We have the overhead shot.
Okay, go for it.
We have this great overhead shot. Again, as the music's playing, things turn really serious. It's like, oh my god, now we care about Taylor at this point after all this great kind of jumbling of it's episode 2. He was kind of a scumbag, and he's slowly winning us over as that counterpoint to Jessica, and he's been hit, and then we have the driver and the girl are panicking, and then Gundry walks by. And it's just like, call someone for help. And again, Gundry's not really making a big move. And as we kind of go up again from the watching you position, essentially, like where we're from the sky looking down, we reverse that. And then this is one of those brilliant edits of the whole episode here, right here. The link up at the very end. So like this directly is the link up here. Like that was just like a little link up to that one cryptic shot. This is like the big link up here. So like this is what I called too, right here. Where I called the link that they were going to meet each other essentially in this one, and of course the minute he comes to, it's like, okay, we're back to episode 1. Like, oh my god, yes.
And I love how it's such a quick edit. It's such a quick flash. It's like we see exactly what we need to see. It's just like the bed, him waking up, there, done. It's like a minute. It's like a second and a half. All right. So, Dragon, that just leaves 1 episode of Watching You. Do you want to promote season 3 really quick?
Yeah, it's very. I'm sorry, what?
Season 3. Do you want to promote season 3? Since we only have
1
episode left of Watching You.
Sure. Folks, listen. If anyone's out there, of course, listen. We are taking fan requests for season 3 of the Just Giggle It grab bag, as in whatever you guys want, whatever video from Just Giggle It, whatever sketch, whatever video you want to see us recap, like we've done with Watching You. After Watching You, basically it's all fan requests. So far, we have compiled 5. We'll be shouting out the people who made suggestions and recommendations and such, and we'll give you all the credit in the world. So basically, folks, season 3 will be as long as you dictate it to be, essentially. It's like as we're going through, basically by the time we reach the end of our list, if we don't have anything else, that's where the season ends, and then we're just going to back to basics or something else. And but until then, you guys, you can extend that season. Just kind of give us episodes you want us to talk about. Like, what's your favorite JGI sketch that you'd like to hear talked about or recapped and such. So by all means, just, you put it in the comments, put it in the community page, just giggle it. Put it somewhere where we can find it, and by all means, we'll shout you out. We'll do the whole 9 hours, roll up the red carpet for you.
All right.
Express our gratitude.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching, folks. I guess we'll get to the final thoughts.
Any speculation?
Nah, speculation. It's funny, Dragon, because now that we're linked up, it's just kind of a question of how far exactly are we going to go with it? Like, are we going to get any sort of resolution on any of the arcs, or are we just kind of going to set up everything? I definitely think that the man at the door is going to finally be explained. That's like, if anything else, like, I think he's going to finally kind of sit down with Taylor and Jessica and be like, look, you two are in each other's lives for a reason. You need each other to help you grow as people. Like, whether it be supernatural or he's just concerned and, like, kind of a weird, like, omnipresent observer. I don't know. I just think that the man at the door needs an explanation by the end of episode 7. That's really all I'm hoping for.
And of course, they could always go the liar route of, like, we never explain exactly how it happens, but he's involved. It could be one of those things.
That's definitely a possibility as well. Sure.
But let's see. Of course, by liar, I mean like the birthday candle bit of, like, what makes him tell the truth. We'll never know. But all seriousness though, I'm with you though. Down the line though, I surmise that I think Gundry was going to confront Taylor and, like, ask him to he was going to offer him a second chance in meeting Jessica and kind of being like almost like a almost like a sober companion. That's a poor choice of words. Like a sponsor of some kind for her grief. Like, kind of like he was going to recommend that they probably meet up and stuff, and, like, they kind of help, like a therapy buddy almost.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what he intended to do when he was following him. I don't know how sinister that was going to go. The point is, he was going to help this girl, and he was going to use this guy as, like, a way of healing her. So the point is, Taylor was in the plan somehow. I don't know if, like, my theory is that he's a mad scientist, and he had, like, something that could, like, put his brain or, like, kind of regenerate him through her or something. It could be a supernatural thing, hence the whole, like, you've had the whole God theory since, the beginnings. I mean, he could be like, I'm not saying he's God or anything, I'm saying, like, a spiritual healing. Like, he could be a spiritual healer of some kind, for all we know. Entirely possible. The whole doctor thing makes me think healer, and he was going door to door, kind of like Jehovah's Witness that Taylor was making fun of to no end.
Sure.
And again, I think the main plot point going forward is, that whether we'll see it in the next episode or just in the future of watching you. I mean, Taylor and Jessica, again, they have those opposing perennial dynamics, which I think are going to provide a lot of.
Yeah, that's definitely something. I'm not really sure if we're going to get much more from the mother side of things, but I, at the very least, think we're going to get a conversation that sort of links up those two ideas, where it's like, oh, you think you have daddy issues? Well, guess what? I have a whole tragic backstory myself. Maybe even kind of tie into, like, the comic book origins thing a little bit.
Sure. I mean, for all we know, I'm just going to throw this out there. Maybe Jessica helps mend the relationship between Taylor and his mother.
Could be.
She lost the parent. Now she's helping him.
Like I said, I still don't think we have enough time to do that, like, in the last episode.
Well, sure. I'm just saying broadly.
Very much a potential plot line to go down in the future, for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's what I mean. Yeah.
All
right. So, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Yeah, this is a very well condensed, very well packaged episode. As you said, it's got one of the best edited sequences in the whole Just Giggle It catalog. And it's very much a testament to what makes Watching You a special show. I really think this is a very high quality web series that really laid the groundwork for Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world. And I think that everyone should be checking out the series. And don't forget to check us out next Tuesday, as always, when we break down the series finale for now. The season finale, at the very least, of Watching You. All right, Dragon, your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, I think this is one of the best directed and best put together episodes. So I think 4 and 6 so far are my favorites out of the whole, kind of chopped up, pilot into a first season. I'm just amazed by the economy of story within this chapter, slash segment. It's gripes aside, it's two very minor subjective gripes aside. That link up astonishes me, and it's basically the dissemination of story and information. It's so well done, so well communicated. We use this the cryptic nature of our premise very well, and it feels like it's been fueling something worth waiting for. And again, I'm so impressed. I kind of like when we recapped an episode of Freakazoid recently. The economy of stories, like how we hit all of our marks within a very small margin of time. We absolutely did that here, and it was so worth it. And it was great. I mean, here's the thing. I like it from the technical level. I like it technically as much as I like episode 4 emotionally, if that makes any sense. Like episode 4 emotionally, like I love that one. That's like top tier. This is just top tier in terms of like presentation,
Sure.
So top marks all around. And just kind of quick little final shout out to the fine folks that kind of joined us, giving like a little, nice little shout out here. Of course, we've had some fine people join us here, like Demona B, Kaylin Scott, Nate Productions.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. It's awesome to actually have consistent live viewers for a change on these things. And thank you to Joshua Thomas for making that happen by sharing the videos out.
Of course, as always. And folks, remember, next, we'll be doing this again next time for episode 7. Of course, watch Harley Quinn the Joker versus the Real World, episode 5, to make more magic happen on Just Giggle It. And just gonna keep watching. Again, Kelsey Prabilski is going to be amazing us all this week, so keep an eye out for that. And that's all until the next reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag.
Is Mel Gibson friends with